Joy to the world, the Spirit reigns. Let us our songs employ. Well, fields and floods, rocks, hills, and plains, repeat the sounding joy. Repeat the sounding joy. Repeat, repeat the sounding joy. Strength, faith, and love, the powers grow with will and zeal profound. Imagination, understanding, life, order, wisdom, and power. Life, order, wisdom, and power. Life, order, and power as we go. God rules the world with truth and grace, and makes the nations prove the glories of God's righteousness, and wonders of God's love, and wonders of God's love, and wonders of God's love.
Yay, thank you. Well, good morning.
Morning.
Maybe cold outside, but it's nice and warm in here. And welcome to you that are joining us online. I hope you are warm and cozy where you are also. I think we're all home folks today, nobody new. So you all know that the coffee bar and the snack bar is open, and a public service announcement here. There is no one signed up for next week, so if you enjoy that coffee and tea. Oh, we need some help for the first of the year. So if you want to start out 2025 hot and cozy, consider signing up. And we do invite men and women into into the kitchen. Yeah. We are a prayer ministry. Our prayer box is over there for support, anything you're celebrating or anything you might have concerns on. Our prayer team will hold you in prayer for 30 days, and then we send it to Silent Unity down in Missouri for another 30 days of prayer. Let's affirm our mission statement together. We spiritually awaken oneness with God, with each other, and with all creation. And this comes out of that vision that we hold as a movement, as a unity movement around the world, seeing a world powerfully transformed through a growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. Understanding it's not finding the right and perfect path, the correct answer, if you will, but it's really honoring ourselves and each other, whatever path we're on and wherever we are on that path. So let's affirm together. The enlightenment of the Buddha shines within us. The compassion of the Christ moves through us. The power of Jehovah strengthens and guards us. The presence of Allah surrounds and guides us. Wherever we are, the Tao is, and all is God.
These are the gifts of the season, love, joy, and peace. Gifts the season. Are you ready to receive these? All the gifts of the season. Love, joy, and peace. Gifts of the season. Are you ready to receive? Love, are you ready? Joy, are you ready? Peace, are you ready? Are you ready to receive? These are the gifts of the season. Love, joy, and peace. Gifts of the season. Are you ready to receive? All the gifts of the season. Love, joy, and peace. Gifts of the season. I am ready to receive. Love, I am ready. Joy, I am ready. Peace, I am ready. Yes, I'm ready to receive.
Oh, thank you, Greg. Okay, some prayer time. Praying for our neighbors, and our neighbors are anybody with whom we share this planet. And we know that our hearts are open to all those places that are in strife and contest, shall we say, around the world, and especially as people in Ukraine and Gaza are getting ready to survive the winter. But a little closer to home, Jill and Brendan welcomed their baby Amelia this week in their car on the phone to 911 in Eaton County. And so, we just hold the 911 staff in our prayers as well as this family. I mean, right down the street there. It's a wonderful thing to celebrate. And I mean, all of our first responders, the people on 911 and all those people, they talk them through the birth. And you can Google it, you can listen to it. You can listen to the birth. And how appropriate this time of year. I love it. Also, the youngest person ever to win World Chess Championship won this week, 18 years old. Gukish, I think his name is, picture of him being celebrated. And really, we all want to celebrate that our government's not shutting down. Isn't that great? They passed it, the president signed it, so we are going to be funded going forward. And right now, there are about 120 million people in movement, trains, planes, automobiles, whatever. And just as we go into prayer today, just kind of to hold them into that light of protection for safe travels, that the travels might be a Christmas experience for them, that they're well supported. So let's just take a moment and close our eyes as we open our hearts to all of our neighbors. First, we might include those closest to us, anybody in our families or friends with health challenges, or in grief, or in celebration. Bring them into the sphere of our love, supporting them and honoring them. As we expand our circle to include our neighbors not only here in Lansing, here in Michigan, but around the world. In this moment, whatever they are facing, whatever the condition is, we affirm the presence of the divine in that situation. We affirm the internal strength and courage that rest inside of each individual, that spark of divinity, that wisdom to discover the next step that is best for the current condition. And we send them our love and our support in that very intangible, but very powerful way to let them know that they are not alone, that we are connected, and that we send them love. And so it is. Amen. And now just for a moment, I was thinking today, if you could ask for anything, if there are no limitations, what would you be asking for Christmas? What does your heart really want for Christmas? Maybe it can't be wrapped. Oh, you got a good one, Greg.
No. I was just going to. There's a skit on Saturday Night Live with Steve Martin.
Okay.
And so he's like, all the children of the world,
to hold hands in peace and harmony. You remember the one I'm talking
I
about?
haven't seen that one.
And then it just gets more and more selfish and terrible. Like $27 million deposited to me. You know, it's funny. But as far as that goes, I don't really know anymore. You know, it's like as I get older, it's not about receiving as much as the giving.
The experience.
Yeah.
Well, maybe your Christmas presents be able to give
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, that's true. Like have the financial freedom to really be generous and
To
how
go
about-
get
how
all
about
those
you?
5,000 teens that are in single-family parent households. Yeah.
Definitely.
To have all my family with me.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. I think of, Dallas, New Zealand, Damien in Canada, and it'd just be nice to sit around the tree and have hot chocolate and
Right. Get everybody together and stuff.
and Christmas
Logistical
cookies.
challenge.
Yes. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. It's such a joy to be able to travel and to see the world, and it's so difficult to try to bring everybody together on the same day at the same
Oh, I know,
time.
because first the time is a
Yes.
problem.
Yep.
Somebody's in a different day than you. I mean,
Time is more precious than money. So many
oh
times,
yeah,
you can earn money. You can't earn time.
it's true.
Yeah, you can't
Yeah.
steal it. Oh, sometimes it feels like people steal our time.
It feels like it, doesn't it?
It does. Well,
Should we sing?
yeah, I kind of feel like a little cha-cha
Yeah,
thing coming
let's
on.
brush
huh? Yeah.
off our Spanish, right?
Yeah.
All right. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Prospero año y felicidad. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Prospero año y felicidad. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas from the bottom of my heart. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Prospero año y felicidad. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Prospero año y felicidad. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas from the bottom of my heart.
Good morning. I'm Susan Winkelstern, facilitator of our design team. Our daily word on this fourth Sunday of Advent is joy, inspired by the Gospel of Matthew. When they saw the star had stopped, they were overwhelmed with joy. There is a stirring in the air that calls us to rejoice. The imminent birth of the Christ into humanity is an exciting time. Joy is the welcoming of unconditional love and the deep knowing it is the birthright of all the world's beings. It is the awe felt at the birth of a baby, the scent of crisp, clean air, or watching a comet flame across the night sky. There are some of the wonders that bring us joy. We need not wait for these serendipitous happenings to awaken our joy. As we have embarked on the Advent journey, we have grown in faith, peace, and love. With joy, our Advent journey is nearing completion. This wonderful feeling of deep contentment, full hearts, and tranquil minds leads us to the expectancy of the birth of the Christ within, the greatest gift we could receive. Let us affirm, my Advent journey leads me to joy. It'll be time soon to take it all down. You can be part of the design team on Monday, January 6th, when we meet to take down our Christmas decorations. If you're available, the design team would love your help. We will be meeting about 10 a.m. on that Monday morning, and it should take us about an hour. And now I would like to introduce the Unity Quartet. It's my pleasure to introduce Denise Kaleo, Greg Denning, Jeff English, and Stacy Ames.
The music we're singing this morning, all of it was written, composed by Lucille Olson. It's such an honor to sing her music. Singing her music over the years has given me insight and joy on my spiritual path. The first song we'll sing this morning is actually a combination of two songs from a Christmas, what's the word you want? Cantata.
There we go.
Thank you. So years ago, she wrote a Christmas cantata, and we're taking parts of two songs and singing them together. So let your hearts and your minds be open to the words this morning. This is Journey to Bethlehem and Follow Your Inner Star.
The journey begins when something deep inside is starting to come alive. Like a mystical, magical carpet ride. You can feel it, but you don't know why. A part of your senses, there is more to this life, much more than you can see. You open the door that's been held shut tight, and you enter in the mystery. We are all born to journey to Bethlehem, journey to Bethlehem, wherever we roam. We are all born to journey to Bethlehem, journey to Bethlehem, finding our way back home. It's a spiritual transformation,
A mystical revelation, a magical reawakening,
the pilgrimage of the soul. We're spiritual beings in a human form. We're learning to become aware. God is with us all the time. He travels with us everywhere. When we follow the path of our inner star, it'll open up our mind and heart. As we travel the road to a loving way, we'll experience a brand new start. We are all born to journey to Bethlehem, journey to Bethlehem, wherever we roam. We are all born to journey to Bethlehem, journey to Bethlehem, finding our way back home.
follow your inner star.
Follow your inner star. Just look to the light to find what feels right. It's the wisdom of the head and heart.
Follow your inner
Follow your inner star. Follow your inner star. It's your divine right. You're a child of light, so just follow your inner makes all things clear, flooding its light o'er all the years. God's presence is everywhere, we can feel it warm and near. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, love is the essence of who we are. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, love is the essence of who we
What a great source of music for this holiday season. Thank you, Lucille. I know you can't be with us in person today, but hopefully you're catching us online. Well, this is the first official, we're into winter, right? Yesterday was solstice. They say solstice was about an ancient concept that like the sun stood still. It kind of reminds me as you go as far as you can, then you have to stop before you turn back, though the sun doesn't do that. But there's a kind of sense with light, the light that we experience in our world. Rabbi Lawrence Kushner, he wrote this, he says, "The days have been growing shorter, imperceptibly, but inescapably darker." And any of you that are sensitive to sunlight deficit, you know what I'm talking about. Heading into the night of winter solstice, every spiritual tradition has some kind of festival of light. And I love that because though in each religious tradition, there's certainly these joyous festivals at this time of year celebrating light, but somehow the festivals can make us be separate into little silos instead of realizing that communally we're all celebrating this. But the rabbi continues and says, "We're all just whistling in the dark, hoping against hope that someone up there will see those little Hanukkah candles and get the hint." Bring back the light, bring back the light. And I love this little saying that says, "Don't think the garden loses its ecstasy in winter." You know, as we look out and it seems like everything has stopped growing. It says it's quiet down there, but the roots are riotous. This was the poet Rumi. And I was thinking as we go into the Christmas season this year, that our Christmas may be quiet, but inside it can be riotous. Those spiritual roots that are growing within us can be taking these leaps and bounds of growth that maybe we don't see on the outside yet, but there's a whole year of light coming ahead of us. So this year for Advent, I've been looking at, inspired by a book by Matthew Fox, Father Matthew Fox, who wrote Original Blessing, as opposed to the concept of everybody being born as original sin. And in his concept of original blessing is a theology based on creativity, the creative process, as opposed to that we needing to be saved or of salvation, that somehow we're born broken and our whole job is to get fixed again. And I'm hoping that in looking at Christmas a slightly different way, that maybe we each have a deeper Christmas experience. It's something we've all done before, and that it's no longer just the same old, that there's something that can shift within us and really take us deeper. So Advent has peace, hope, love, and of course this Sunday, the fourth Sunday, is joy. We have these aspects of it. And in the original blessing tradition, in the creation tradition, there's these paths that we follow spiritually in our lives. One is via positiva. Really, that's the breadth of our life, appreciating all the wonderful things that life has to offer. Then under peace, the via negativa, which is the dark side of life, those disappointments, the grief, the pains, the sadness. And really that part is the depth of our life. You know, we don't live a one note that is just always like this. We have this depth of emotions, and we really need to embrace both sides. It's not about ignoring those things that are difficult or challenging, but it's embracing that along with the darkness, along with the light. Last week we talked about creativity, that if you can embrace the light and the dark, you're in this place to really start creating. And today we take that creation into transforming. Not only do we create, we transform what is into something that never was before, something brand new. In the Bible, there's these wonderful creation stories, but it also leaves us with an impression that creation started and then stopped. You know, God went fishing, whatever that might be. But it's something that continues all the time. We're always creating. And so we come to the Christmas celebration, so many of the celebration, Hanukkah, all these festivals of lights, it's about that birthing the light coming back stronger and newer, if you will. Gandhi said, God appears to you not in person, but in action. And so we have these rituals because we do things to connect with spirit. We do things to connect with the light. We do things to connect in a sense of oneness that perhaps we might forget about in our day-to-day life. And I was thinking that there's two kind of examples that come to my mind when we do something again and again and again, hoping to get a deeper experience. So this type of theology is called creation-centered, that we're always creating a spiritual tradition. And instead of trying to reason out the story and what we're supposed to do and what the ritual is supposed to be, to step into a venue of compassion, that it's not the intellectual, it's the heart experience. And not only just our heart experience, but how our heart allows us to connect with others in the sense of compassion. So it reminds me a lot of two things. One is the spiral. If you've heard the concept of the spiral, and you may have noticed this in your life, you're working really hard on whatever it is to grow and to get more skilled. It could be riding a bicycle, learning a computer, or your spiritual path. And it seems like you progressed, and then all of a sudden it's like the same thing again. But it's more like going up a mountain, a spiral. That, we are going through the same thing, but with a deeper consciousness, with a broader consciousness, with a broader skill set, if you will. So spiral dynamics. The other concept that comes to mind when we do these things annually is the idea of fractals. And if you hadn't heard of fractals, it's a mathematical equation that includes the answer on both sides of the equation, which is kind of a weird kind of thing. But what happens is, basically, it says that within everything, there's a pattern that keeps repeating no matter how small or how large you get. It's just, Google it. It's just, if you want to go down the rabbit hole about fractals, it's kind of fun. It's been called the thumbprint of God, because you could actually write a formula that, if you manifest it out, would give you a tree, which seems like it's random, or a cloud, but there is actually a formula for it. So for us, as we're going through our own personal transformations in our spiritual journeys, and it's a journey that's never done, there's not like an end to it, we're always creating and transforming. We may find these patterns repeating, but if we take that internal inventory about what's really happening, is it perhaps a little bit deeper this time? Do we understand it? Maybe we have a new perspective on it. Maybe it has a new feeling for us, or just some new way that it shows up. Well, today on Transformativa, it's about joy. And have you seen the movie Inside Out? Because it's all about our emotions. And there's little Joy up there, and she's just a wonderful character. But even Jesus said, "Be compassionate as God is compassionate." Meister Eckhart is talking about whatever God does, the first output is always compassion, the first outburst. And to rejoice at another person's joy is like being in heaven. That sense of joy, whatever that means to each of us, is something that we do strive for. It's a lovely way of being. It's when we're bubbly, you can feel the energy coming within you. Just getting ready for change, whatever it is, or celebration. I mean, it may not be a big change. And I didn't notice outside, but there's something shifting, that little bit of shift that's a little bit closer to understanding what it is to be one with everyone in all things. Carl Jung said, "A greater and stronger life urge is what moves people to a new level of consciousness, so that problems are seen differently and thereby become healed. That is salvation by creative celebration." Even, I'm sure you've heard the stories of people that have a disease like cancer, and they help cure their body with laughter. There's something about joy that breaks up the vibration. There's nothing more uplifting to me than to hear a real joyous prayer, like we hear it in song, and you can feel the change into you that lifts it up as opposed to being pressed down. So looking at Christmas this year, what would it look like to have a creation-centered Christmas experience as opposed to a salvation-centered, where you're not so good, so you need to be saved. You need to do something to fix it. Instead, finding a way to celebrate your own inner creativity, that you're part of this life. You're not a victim of life. You're a co-creator of life. So I was kind of comparing the two ways of approaching Christmas. One is contemplation, thinking about it. There's been a lot of books, written, and there's people out there looking to prove the stars were in a certain arrangement at, 2024 years ago, or historical things to prove that this happened or that happened. Just, thinking about it, wanting to find the facts. And on the other side is Christmas as compassion, as a feeling, not just within ourselves, but a feeling that connects us with other people. So we might, on contemplation, what's the purpose of this holiday? What are the facts? What do we know for sure? On the other side, it's more, how do I connect with? How do I get out of my silo, my very safe silo, and start being into a heart-sharing space? So some of the characters in a Christmas story, as we look at them metaphysically, Herod represents that part of us that intellectually we want power over this. We want to know the facts. We want to have control of the situation. We want everything to go on schedule. Where on compassion, it's having power with. It's about being empowered because other people are empowered. There's a sense of communal sharing of life, if you will. The Magi, I think of them as discoverers. They're out wandering, they're looking, they're waiting to see what's going to happen. And there's parts of us that go the same way. We're out there trying a lot of things. We like to entertain our mind. I love this. I love to go on, down the rabbit hole and see where it takes me. But on the other side, on compassion, we get that everyone has a sense of uncertainty in some areas of their life. And we get that in order to live fully, we need to get comfortable with living in the question, not some guaranteed answer. When we're in the question, it's like a wonderful journey that keeps inviting us forward to discover something new, to be something new. The shepherds might represent being afraid. It might represent safety. The shepherds are there to keep all the sheep safe. That part of us that we keep certain things inside because it's safe, it's too vulnerable to share it. Might represent even hope for us as we read the story. And where were the shepherds? How far did they walk? How long did it take them to get to the manger? That's the contemplative approach. And when we're in the compassionate approach, it's more about, universal worries, that we all have things to worry about. We all have those wolves, if you will, out there. And, if we have similar concerns and worries, how easy it is to help each other, to be with one another, to be compassionate. Not saying, that's silly. Why are you worrying about that? Why are you thinking about that? Just understanding that we have this humanness that does cause us to feel vulnerable. And just like the Holy Family, factually, I see people that are trying to survive. They're immigrants to another city. They've made this arduous journey. And we have parts of our mind, I wonder how long it took them to get there, What time of day did they arrive? How did they know which inn to go to? Whatever that might be. And collectively, we're all vulnerable. That's the human experience. That is the human experience, that we get to make mistakes, because it seems to be a very effective way for us to learn. We get to have joy, and we get to have sadness. We get to be right, and we get to be wrong. And it's all okay to be vulnerable. And when we give ourselves permission to be that, how easy it is to give other people permission to be wrong or to be right. That goes, yeah. Okay. So what kind of behavior do we have to take it from the positive and the negative, the light and the dark in our life, through creation, to actually make a transformation? Well, some of Jesus' teachings are pretty transformational. When you think that he said, love your enemies. Love your enemies. What the heck is this guy talking about? I mean, is there a person in here that hasn't had, I'm going to say had, a vendetta at some point against somebody because they did something unthinkable to you? My college roommate snuck out with my boyfriend while I was doing her homework assignment for her. Yeah. I know, we've all had those things, right? Jesus said, love your enemies, do good and don't expect anything back. Breathe. Be compassionate as God is compassionate. Have that experience of compassion, of connecting, if you will. Meister Eckhart says that Whatever God does, the first outburst is always compassion. I just repeat this again, because that idea, when we have that feeling of connectedness, can you feel what it feels in your heart right now if you were feeling think what you're compassionate towards. A child, an animal, somebody living in the street right now that doesn't have inside housing. There's a great outpouring of connectedness, of great warmth. And that's the activity of God, as Gandhi said, you see God in action. What do we do with that compassion? And the idea of compassion is not that one side has more power, more resources, so superior to the inferior we're going to share. It's really about seeing the other person as equal to you, no matter what their situation. We just recently sent over some things for Adopt a Family and for the teens over at the Fledge. And we don't give because we are here and they are there. We give because we're equals, and our storehouse happened to have an abundance of things that we're just asking to be shared, whatever that resource might have been. It's very different giving as equals as opposed to giving down. You feel the difference? We're not giving because they need, we're giving because we can give. Because we are so blessed to be able to give. That is compassion. That is a relationship among equals. So as we get to the Christmas season, for me, there's a lot that comes up about healing. And Deepak Chopra put out a little article the other day that said, are healing and spirituality the same? And I'd never thought about it, but in truth it is. Healing and spirituality have a lot of commonalities about it. And one of the ways that we heal is through play, whether it's laughing our way through cancer or some other disease, or just getting a little more relaxed. It's like when we're desperate, we hold so tightly. It's like if you're trying to hold a bunch of sand, you hold so tightly, you squeeze it out of your hand. Well, if you're holding so tightly to a disease, we squeeze out the room for life. We squeeze out the breathability of what's going on. So we learned healing through play is just a marvelous thing. And this is a fact, for those of you that are in the contemplation part, we are the only creatures that play in adulthood. Isn't that interesting? The little baby foxes out here in the spring, they play, they jump, that's how they learn some of their skills. I know my puppies play a lot, chew things up, but at some point, they don't anymore. But as adults, humans, we have a choice that we can keep playing right up until death. There's no time limit on us playing. It's called staying green, and the green edges are where the growth is on the plants, right? When you see little green buds, there's growth happening. And for us, think about the difference between a plant with little green tips on it, and that plant that's dying and brittle. The green is flexible, it's playful, so it's about staying green by staying in that playful mind. And then I love this idea that maybe the time has come to play with God more than pray. And in playtime, we become into our true prayer. So many times we enter into prayer, it can be just separate us from God. In playing, maybe it gives us a chance to relax and be compassionate with God. Be that activity of God on earth. So healing also is about befriending what's deep within us. If we don't own all of this magnificent gift that God has given us, we're somehow shut off a little bit from ourselves, a little bit less. There's a proverb that says, if a woman is mean to herself, to whom will she be good? If we're not kind to ourselves, how can we expect to share that with others? It's what's in our cup that we get to share out with others. So what are we connecting with within ourselves? Are we connecting with the part that we don't want to share, we don't want to embrace? Are we connecting with that part that likes to play, that likes to have fun, that really feels that connectivity, that we're all in this together and we're always better together? There's that shadow side of us that feels dependent, that feels very vulnerable, but there's the light side of us that's interdependent and really understands this relationship all around. And maybe during this Christmas season, part of it is just to be reminded of our goodness. God doesn't make garbage. Every birth is a miracle and unique. And without that birth of each and every one of us, the universe would be less. There'd be something missing in the universe if we weren't here. And feel what that feels like. Is that comfortable to think of that? Can you accept that about yourself, that if you weren't here, there'd be something less in the universe? And then the other thing about the holidays, I think we have a lot of rituals, but I think the only way we heal through rituals if they're not empty, if they're really conscious of it. So there's a sensation of doing the ritual. I can remember growing up in the Methodist church, I can remember the taste of, we had very, very fresh Wonder Bread that we took as the bread for communion, and undiluted grape juice that was slightly tart and sweet. I can still remember the sensation, but I didn't get the deeper meaning. But the feeling of it is connecting to the myth, the greater story that's behind it. So think about this year as you're going through Christmas, moving it from just creating the Christmas experience to really transforming what it's doing for you inside. Think about if you when you're turning on the Christmas tree lights. Maybe you do it every night. This is that symbol of the light always comes back, that there is a power and a force there waiting just to come forward. Think of how that feels to turn on the lights if you really connect with that meaning. I have some of those lights that are battery operated and they turn on every day at the same time for 6 hours. And when I walk by and I see, oh, the light's back on, there's a meaning to that can, just that little thing can connect me a little bit more to the holidays. Think about wrapping presents and unwrapping presents. I know there have been years that wrapping presents was a chore that I was dreading. I never have enough Scotch tape, and I usually am a little bit short on wrapping paper. I don't know why, after all these years, you think I'd get on top of it. But if you thought that this was part of the gift too, that wrapping it, that you're sending your love, your compassion, that just this is an expression of you in the Christmas time. In the same way with receiving the gifts, that it's actually a sacred act to unwrap this gift that was given to you in love. Somebody thought enough of you to take some time to do something for you, to express their love to you. And I think the big one for me is baking Christmas cookies. I think this is one of the most powerful rituals that we have because for many of us it speaks to generations of our family. And when we're bringing out those dog-eared, stained recipe cards that are probably totally covered with bacteria from all the food that's been spilt on them, but taking that moment to realize that you are carrying on a tradition that went back who knows how many years, how many generations, or how they first ever got that recipe. There's so much more meaning. And cookies taste differently when they're made with love. I can't tell you why, but I know it happens. And when they're given in love and when they're received in love, they just taste differently. And I've heard a rumor there's no calories involved there either. But just a rumor, what can I tell you? So the idea, I think the depth of Christmas is really in the myths, not the facts that we can prove. And the concept of a myth is not a story to trick us. This is not, it's not something made up in the sense of a falsehood. What it is something, it's an idea that is so big, you can't contain it with 1, 2, 3, 4 facts. You can't contain it with dates and times and places. It's a story that we experience, that we breathe, that we connect with in such a deeply profound way, far beyond any historical, far beyond any news reports. This is something that is bigger than anything that our brain even can conceive of. Too large for factoids to carry. Isn't that a great way to think of a myth? That we're trying to explain an idea, a feeling, an experience, that it's too big to be held down by facts. So, the sacred myth of the Christmas message. And every year, the great thing with the myth is it's many-faceted. So each year you get the part of the story that you need to hear that year. In the story of Christmas in the Gospels, one of the most frequently used words for God is Emmanuel. And Emmanuel in Hebrew means God with us. Not God above us, not God separate from us, God with us. So that the story, a very present myth in the story is, what does it mean to have God with us? In the story, it's the birth of this baby and how those are drawn to him. In our own lives, whatever that means, what does it look like to really know that God is with you in all things? The idea that this baby is born, that is so heralded by the angels, the journey to come alive, that within us, we're always being born, we're always coming alive. It's like that light that cannot be held under a bushel basket. And then angels show up all the time. By the way, random question, I'm trying to find out when angels went from being men to being women. In the Old Testament, it was Michael. I mean, they were all men. And then all of a sudden, they became women. We'll do that some other day. But angels, every time there's something big happening, they seem to show up in the story. And angels metaphysically are those thoughts that pop into our head seemingly out of nowhere from the Godhead, as Charles Fillmore, Unity co-founder, would say, thoughts directly from the Godhead. And maybe seeing those angels as a wake-up call to our own divinity. And you know, and speaking of rituals and angels, we do the angel service at the beginning of December. One of the most conscious things that we do is the decorating of the tree with ornaments for those that have passed that we want to remember in this Christmas season. And that very act of decorating a tree versus hanging an ornament in love for somebody that you miss that's still residing in your heart. Can you feel the difference in that, the difference that it makes? And after we finish the angel service, the tree always feels different. The ritual, the intellectual ritual, made the tree beautiful. But the angel service brought it to life, So, which path is ours this year? You could take any part of there's a part of the story that is speaking to you, that wants to be part of the compassionate experience. A holy family traveling out of duty, because that's what the rule said they had to do, a donkey carrying a burden. The innkeeper had that key role of moving them on. Sometimes in our own life, we don't have a place. There's no place at the end for us because it's not the place for us to grow. We need to go to the next step. It could be the magi out doing what they do, looking for the stars. The camels, bridled, carrying this big trip, this path through the desert. Shepherds responding to the mystical. These shepherds minding their own business out in the fields with the wolves and the sheep. And yet they're called. There's a part of us that might be sleeping, trusting like the sheep, trusting in their safety. That something about is speaking to us. The angels singing, the hillsides listening, hearing the story anew for the first time. So our annual Christmas journey, we have to do it every year, it seems. Practice, practice, practice. Because somehow, though it focuses on this time of year, as the year wanes on into the new year, we seem to forget. Forget the joy, forget the lights, forget that really great need to be compassionate and connect. Creation is not without terror. It's scary to create something new. Oh my goodness, we could fail. Nobody else might like it. But actually to be spurred on to do that new thing that is exactly ours to do, that transforming something that is day to day, that Christmas cookie that speaks of 5 generations, that Christmas ornament that reminds you and anyone who looks at it of a person who is so dear to you. So if you think about the holidays, we participate by the Via Positiva. We turn on the lights. I love the lights at night out there, and the lights on our trees, the lights inside. It really is a time to bring on the lights. We also let go into the darkness. Next week will be during the burning bowl, where we symbolically let go of those things that aren't blessing us. And then the first week of the new year, we do our white stone ceremony, where we allow that word to come to us that's going to guide us into the next year. And then finally, beginning anew. It's a new year, that Transformativa. Oh, God bless Latin. As we transform into what is to come. We're going to take a little time now to go into meditation, a transformative meditation, hopefully. I just invite you to close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. Oh, and to take a few breaths. Allowing the body to just be present, to relax. Breathe into the back of your neck and shoulders, and allow any tension to drift away. Become conscious of our extremities, our fingers and our feet, and maybe move them a bit, and just, if there's any residual tension, it's okay to let it go. As we continue to breathe, it's an interesting thought that Right now we are sharing. We're sharing energy, presence. We're actually sharing breath. That air that's moistened by our bodies. As we release it, it intermingles with the breath of every other being. As you think about this oneness of breath, let's allow ourselves to move a bit farther, farther in space and farther in time. And with this next breath, feel what it was like to have your breath mingled with the breath of the babe in a manger. This new life come into our world and immediately sharing. To share that breath, ours with the babe with us. We also share our breath with those surrounding us. The mother, the father, the shepherds, the magi, the donkey, the cows, the camels, the delightful four-legged that come to simply be. We share without hesitation. We accept freely. In the simplicity of our breath, we can have that compassionate experience of this Christmas season. In the awareness of our interconnectedness, our heart can move from duties to compassion. As we embrace this moment and the awakening, the birthing that is happening with us, with our spiritual nature, we find ourselves filled with a gratitude without end for this life, for this reminder, and for our ability to love and to express joy. And so it is. Amen.
Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. 'Cause here I go, deeper, deeper, deeper than I've ever been before. Here I go, closer, closer, closer to my sacred source. Here I go, deeper, deeper, deeper than I've ever been before. Here I go, closer, closer, closer to my sacred source. Get ready, my soul. Get ready, my soul.
Thank you, Greg. Well, you've opened the door to Christmas. Now it's really about embracing your experience, and hopefully it's a deeper experience than you've ever had before. If you get any of the stuff I told you, just remember to play. Just play compassionately, non-competitive games. And with that, I get to invite Denise and Greg and Stacy and Jeff back up for another beautiful piece from Lucille.
It's Christmas again. So tell me, my friend, what's on your wish list this year?
A telephone call, or a toy by Mattel, or a new Stein for your Christmas cheer.
If it's peace you desire, as you sit by the fire, longing for peace midst the din.
As insanity looms in the world's doom and gloom, we wonder how it will all end.
Let's all give peace for Christmas. Let's fill our moments with joy. How hard can it be when it's starting with me? When the best from within I deploy. Let's all give peace for Christmas. Let's be dramatically bold.
Do things that bring joy with each girl and boy, no matter how young or old.
Peace, peace, sweet peace, starting in my own backyard. Peace, peace, wonderful peace, growing within my heart. Let's all give peace for Christmas and make it a habit all year. Let's all awaken and not be forsaken by ego's perception of fear. Let's all give peace for Christmas. Let's be a channel for good as we watch our talk.
Watch your thoughts like a hawk.
Do the best that we possibly could. Let's have peace for Christmas.
Thank you, Denise, Greg, Jeff, and Stacy once again, and thank you, Lucille, for your wonderful composition. And now is the time we create a sacred circle of generosity by sharing of the blessings we have received. We know that the gift we give is not a debt we owe. It is a seed we sow from a consciousness of abundance. For those in person in our sanctuary, you can place your cash or check in the glass jar on the table. Alternately, whether in person or online, you may point your phone at the QR box on our screen or on your screen if you're watching online, and commit and donate through PayPal. Regular givers, electronically or by mail, may affirm their gifts with an affirmation token or your hand placed over the jar or over your heart. We bless our gifts as we share of our love and our treasure by affirming together, divine love through me, bless blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I praise, give thanks, and am glad. We create a circle of generosity by first thanking everyone for their continued loving support of Unity through many channels, electronically, by mail, and in person. Our circle grows with acts of gratitude for these many gifts by sharing our gifts with others. And in our fourth quarter, the tithes were divided among the remaining nominees: Helping Women Period, Meta Peace Team, and the City Rescue Mission. These are all organizations focused on people helping people with their dignity, peace, and physical needs. We will continue acknowledging our blessings as we sing, "I'm So Grateful."
Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful, 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 I'm so grateful.
I don't think our Derek is here today, correct? Is Derek here? Okay, I don't see him, so I'm going to guess he's not here, at least not physically. So, let us take a moment to deeply immerse ourselves in gratitude by collectively blessing the gifts received on your table. Given in love, received in love, we dedicate these gifts to do the will and the work of Holy Spirit. And so it is. Amen. Tomorrow night, those of you who enjoy caroling are encouraged to come out to Old Town and to sing with Christmas spirit, sing in the Christmas spirit. Meet at Sir Pizza on Cesar Chavez Avenue at 5:30 p.m. and let the music begin. If you have any questions, see Jill Denning or Deshawn Sneed-Pratt over here. And special holiday services continue next Sunday with our traditional burning. Oop, I skipped a page. Sorry about that. Everyone is invited to complete their Advent journey Tuesday evening with our Christmas Eve candle lighting service at 7 p.m. And this year, for Christmas Day, Unity is opening for some reindeer games. Look out we may see some reindeer out here. This is open to everyone and is especially designed for those who do not have family activities going on Christmas Day. Bring a game, snacks, and just come and enjoy a fun afternoon. If you're planning to attend, please sign up at the credenza so we know how many to expect. And of course, as always with sign-ups, if you are moved at the last minute to come, please don't let that impede your coming here and enjoying the company of friends. If you have any questions, see Nanette or Chris McInhill, who I'm sure you all know, sitting right over here. And there are reminder flyers on your tables. And now, special holiday services continue next Sunday with our traditional burning bowl, along with an introductory experience of Hanukkah and Kwanzaa. This is something you will not want to miss. Then, following next week's service, we're planning some extra joy with a Secret Santa White Elephant gift exchange. Bring a white elephant gift. This can be a re-gift, something gently used that you have around the house, something homemade. The choice is yours. After service, we will exchange these anonymous gifts with a traditional white elephant gift game. We hope you'll all join in on the fun. If you haven't received your Unity directory, please see Luann following the service. And thank you to all our sponsors that made it possible to provide the directory to our members at no charge. Okay, I think we are ready to, let's create a consciousness of community as we sing the peace song followed by the prayer of protection. Feel free to stand in place or join in the circle. A reminder, please, to be respectful when taking someone's hand.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my solemn vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God is within us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is